X-Men Apocalypse is, if you don't listen to any of our full-length episodes on the X-Men journey, I do kind of want you to watch these and then go listen to that episode, because that episode I legitimately get worked up in. And I'm not even trying to be funny. Like, I remember thinking, I don't have much to say about this movie. It's kind of bland. And then somehow my veins were popping out like Robbie's were a little while ago. And that movie in so many ways makes me upset. It makes me upset because of what Days of Future Past was, because of how much I enjoyed that. And then to think that Bryan Singer thought, where should we go from here? And then this is the movie that was the answer to that question is mind-blowing. I think more than anything, the reason why X-Men Apocalypse really bothers me is because with Days of Future Past, I cared. I now cared. I was in. So if you're going to follow it up, why follow it up with what I think is probably the most bland movie in the X-Men journey? It's probably not the worst movie, but at least X3 and Origins have some things to make fun of, or have some character, some feel.
Yeah.
This movie is boring, man. It's boring as all get out. There is, it's just like it's a snooze fest watching it. Every single character feels bland. Like, some characters don't make sense why they're even there. Decisions don't make sense. Like, why do we have to tear up the Sydney Opera House? It does none of it makes sense, and it's just more than anything boring.
It's lame.
It's lame,
man. And I think, again, we talked about this a lot in our episodes. The X-Men franchise has been plagued by two very scandal-ridden directors. Bryan Singer is one of them. So this is not me defending Bryan Singer as a person, but
what's the other?
Brett Ratner. But as a
Here we go.
Well, I'm glad you asked that, because James Mangold safe.
Well, that we know
for now. But
not that we're speaking that over him.
But I think for the longest time, even as we were going through the first half of this rewatch, I was thinking, man, the first X-Men movies are so good. The first two, and those are Singer. Days of Future Past is the next one that you get to that is as good as those two, which is Singer's Return. So I was really thinking, like, man, I bet Apocalypse is a lot better than I remembered it being, because the floor can't be that low, because look at what he's given us. And I was just like, talking about being baffled. I don't understand how the person that made those movies made this movie. It doesn't even make sense.
And that's why I say, please listen to this full episode, because if you are a listener of this podcast, you know us as the positive guys. I mean, in general, the core of this podcast is to find things that maybe aren't as heralded and show you reasons why on a rewatch you may actually enjoy it or find some kind of fulfillment from it. Yeah. That being said, this movie broke us. This was it. We can give you so many reasons, but it would just be repetitive. Go listen to the full episode. There are so many things that don't make sense to us from a filmmaking perspective. And that's coming from the guys who like to find the positive in things.
And, we talk about in Days of Future Past, the Endgame comparisons. And I think we bring this up some in the episode, but I think the real apt comparison, or contrast, I should say here, is Infinity War. Because if you are trying, well, I don't think it was the right move to go to ratchet it up that high to a planetary event. But if you're gonna do that, Infinity War did such a good job of boiling that down into relatable kind of human moments, even if they're human moments with robots and aliens, where like you care about Thanos, but you also care about the people fighting against Thanos, and you care about these little moments between Captain America and the children of Thanos. Like, that movie is successful because it takes something that would all at once be like kind of meaningless and apportions it out really perfectly, and then you back up and it's this mosaic kind of a thing of like, it's an apocalyptic feeling film that doesn't feel like it's beating you over the head with, look at how much the world is ending all the time. Because the problem is, you end Infinity War thinking, man, I could not be more invested in this. You end this movie thinking, like, I don't know if I ever need to see an X-Men movie again. Or that's how I ended it. Like,
it's true. Not just this movie again. It kind of kills the entire thing.
Yeah.
And that's actually a perfect setup for our next few episodes, because that's what I think happened to a lot of people. This movie broke them. And so from this point on, people checked out. Unfortunately, actually some decent stuff happened after this movie.
Yeah.
But this movie was the one that broke people. So again, one last plea, go listen to our full-length episode, X-Men Apocalypse, available wherever you get your podcasts, and then come back here, check in with us. We'd love to hear what you think. We'll see you right back here on Friends from Work.